Welcome to the tutorial on creating Google Forms. Google Forms are great for gathering information and having people take surveys, registering for events, etc. When you make the title of your form, it appears here. And then this is additional descriptive text right below it that you can have or you don't have to have. You do have to have a title. And it starts here. This is an example of a text box where it says name. It's a text box for short, open-ended answers. And then you can add a paragraph of text for longer responses. So here, obviously, they can write a lot more. So when I'm writing just gibberish. But below this is help text. So this is the question. And you'll notice there's a red asterisk. That means it's a required question. The user may not submit the form without responding to it. And below here, that's the title of the question. Obviously, it's not a question, but they call it questions. And then below it is help text, and help text appears a little fainter, as you can see. The next type of question is the multiple choice. And here I have the question and the help text. Multiple choice are where one response is given. Only one response is possible. If I click on a different response, it unchecks the first response I chose. So I'm going to keep it at once a week. The next one is a checkbox. Now a checkbox, multiple responses are available. So you notice now when I check something else, it leaves the first one checked. So I can check multiple responses here. And then finally, there are more types of questions you can use, but these are the main ones. Finally, we have a drop-down box. And I like to use the drop-down box if I don't want my form to get too long, and if there's a short, only 2 responses or so, that's when I like to use it. It's just a style preference. And once again, only one response may be given. And then here's the submit button. When the user is finished, they click submit. And there it is. Now you, as the creator of the form, can go and you have your practice form. And the first time you go to practice form, there'll be a little spot that says create a document for the responses. You'll notice it says here I have 3 responses, and I can view them individually. I can change the theme of this. We'll get into more of that a little bit later. But the important thing is the actual responses in a spreadsheet. So I have my form, and then it allowed me to create a spreadsheet with the responses, and here they are. I can go ahead and look at all those. And it has a timestamp put in there automatically. So how do we create a form? We go to our Drive, and we'll be making ours in Steam. And you click Create, and right there it says Form. Simple enough. And we start off here is that we can pick a theme. The theme I chose was the default, which is really no theme. Mine was pretty simple. But we can go ahead and have like a nice little theme here and click OK. And then here's we want to give the form a name. So this is a practice form, and the document will be called practice form. You notice I always want to name my documents. I said practice 2 here, so practice form. And then here's where the description can be. If I don't write anything, it won't say form description. This just won't appear. So I can skip that if I want. And I don't have to bother. You notice I can't delete it, but it won't appear on my form. In this case, I'm just going to change this answer. And then we have our questions. Our first untitled question title. It defaults to multiple choice. But we can change that, and notice there's more types of questions than I indicated. I'm going to change it to text. And remember, text was simply the real simple short answers, and I'm going to call it name. It doesn't have to be in the form of a question. They'll know to write their name there, and I can make it required. The requirement here is right here, and click done. And then I can choose the type I want to add, a paragraph of text, and here would be something longer. Tell us about yourself. And then I can add help text or a not. hobbies. I think we'll add it just so we can see hobbies. Etc. Now, I don't think we're going to add these for our game. We're not open-ended. You might want to add a comment section on the end, but I'm just going through in order here. I'm going to click Done just to demo it. Um, and then we have our multiple choice. You're going to come up with your own questions, but I just thought, how often? Games. And then you put in the responses here. Every day, once a week. I'm going quickly and I ignored some punctuation here. I'm just going quickly. This is just for purposes of teaching here. If I want to delete one, I can say delete it. Can move them around, move the order. I can add other as a response. So they just click other and add something there and say done. Now they can only have one response because it's multiple choice. The next one, I think I'll want them to have multiple responses. What type of games do you play? Oh, question mark. And then, board games, option 1. And they keep going down. So, and I can add other as well here. Or I can make it required or not make this required. And the other, it would be choose from a list. I can simply say gender. And so I want them to say whether they're a girl or a boy. And that's how I created that one and make that required if I wanted to or not. So let's say I'm happy with this, or I wanted to put the open-ended at the bottom. I can simply drag it by just clicking on it and dragging it down to the bottom. Usually the more open-ended are near the bottom, and things like gender might be at the closer to the top. It's kind of jumping, huh? Maybe move this one up. Okay. If I want to edit, I see a typo. I can click the pencil, will edit. I can duplicate it, make a copy of it, and then maybe just change a couple words and throw it in the trash. So edit would let me go back here and edit, make any changes I need, and click done. And there I have it. I made my form. So the practice form, I'm going to call it practice form because I already have one. And we have a simple link we can share. We could put this on our website, or we can embed it. There's embed code that we can just put in the HTML. Or for this time, I might simply just click send, and I might simply click that, triple click that, and copy it. And I just put a link on a page or so. Maybe if I have a site here, I embedded the other one, but I can maybe click on a page and say, take this survey. Obviously, I put this in my Steam folder, highlight, and click the link for link, and click web address, and copy it, paste it. I'm not going to a site, I'm going outside the actual site, even though it's still within Google. Might want to open it in a new window, and okay. If I wanted to embed it, I'll show that in another tutorial. But I would click HTML and paste that embed code right in the HTML. It's just a different way of going. We'll go over that maybe a little more in class. And so when people go and they can take your survey. Well, maybe preview it to check out what it looks like. Here's the drop down. and scroll down and submit. Okay, now the next thing that we'll want to do is we want to see the responses. Well, here's the form. I went back to my drive. This is the form I made. And it gives you the opportunity to choose a response destination in a spreadsheet, which would make it useful. So I'm going to click that. And it's going to be in the same folder. And the default name is fine for me. Just a new spreadsheet with all the responses in it. And I'm going to click create. And it's setting up the spreadsheet. I have one response, just my own. Now when I go to Steam, I have a spreadsheet with all the responses right there. And as more people take my survey, using the link or the embed code, I'll see more responses. And that's basically forms. Pretty simple.